Right, I think we are at a near normal level of gizmoicalness because I think he wants to come under here. He's standing very closely. What do you want to do, mate? Anyway, there, right, are many thinkoids this evening. So I'm going to make a video about it. But I'm going to, I don't think I've made Don't Reach Out, Reach In, but I know I've mentioned it before, but it's, whilst messaging someone, it's just become the topic that I thought, yeah, I'm going to make a video about it. Because I was anyway. But I'm literally going to call it Don't Reach Out, Reach In. But I did mention when a mate of mine had just checked in randomly, you know, not spoken in quite a while. So I think I saw him, not the last time we went out, but the time before or something like that, but we've not messaged in a while. And I said to him, you've just reminded me of my principle of Don't Reach Out, Reach In. And I've just thought of someone I'm going to message. And then she ended up messaging me. And I told her about it. But the Don't Reach Out, Reach In thing, it's not, I think when I said it in my other video, I said to all of the people who are sort of reaching out, say on Facebook, and I encourage them to reach in. Like if you know someone who is struggling, reach in instead. But then I think it's also for people like me, it's like, because this is where I might get tangled, because I'm going to sort of refer back to the group today a little bit, and this is where the thinkoids start happening. So bear with me if I crash. I may well crash here. I may well crash. So blah, blah, blah. How can I start? Somebody else. Okay, yeah, I'll tie that one in as well. So somebody else who she'd been one of the messages at Christmas, New Year, when I think I had 12 or something in total. And you know how like sometimes you start getting back to messages, then you get replies and you get other ones, and then you've missed some that you were going to work through and they start getting pushed down and you don't see them anymore. That kind of thing. And she'd messaged, like it was it was Christmas week when I was in it. I was like and all it was she'd sent a little gif, like a New Year-y, not a gif, a thing, you know. And I just sent a love heart. And she wrote to me and said, I hope you're well. And it just opened up a little chat, basically. And then she referred to the love heart and just said it actually really brightened me up just to see a love heart. And it was nice for her. And I went, well, now I know that, I'll send you just random little ones. I'll try, it's important, I think, not to overdo those, because they can just be, like anything, it can become meaningless if you do it all the time. And it's the fact that you weren't expecting it is what is nice about it and what's good about it. So it's like, that's just a little way that I can reach in to her, just, that I know, just because we've chatted and we don't judge each other for anything. Just, she likes the odd little whatever. It was enough for her just to see that someone sent love in acknowledgement of her post. That it was a message, it was a New Year-y type attitude message. Do you know, one of those? We saw them all, didn't we, at New Year's? And so it was one of those. So that I was comparing that to the group today, where there was the guy that I didn't like because he kept staring at me. That digresses me into the whole misunderstanding of me and society thing. But forget that. During the group, I won't judge the man. He's been sent there because people have been working with him. They've decided he might benefit from it, and he's chosen to go there as well. It's totally offered. It's not like they say we're going to withhold treatment or change your meds or anything. It's you can pick them. They said to me, there's 8 of them. Pick through the ones that you think you might. I'll just do all of them. I'll just do all of them because it's all extra stuff. But so with the group therapy thing, you're always told how beneficial it can be, and yeah, it can. And I kind of was, in a way. I was more chatty than I said I was going to be. I couldn't help it. But it wasn't about, everyone was asked to answer questions. It was you had to write things down and then share them, and then they would ask you stuff about what you'd written down and stuff. It was good. And the girl who asked me for advice a couple of times, I shared some stuff with her. And she was really, when she went, "Thank you for your advice." I was like, "You're welcome." Those are good little moments that you can just, that was a real thing for her. She wrote down the name of the place that I studied at, and she actually said, "I'm going to Google that this afternoon. Thank you very much." Wow, brilliant. Make a little fucking difference just by sharing a bit of knowledge with her. Perfect. That's when group therapy works. But then with him, he was just not engaging. And yes, people have difficulties engaging and stuff, but I don't know. I would venture if someone is at that level of not being able to communicate, they would probably need someone to communicate with them. Really, because he didn't want to comment. He couldn't think of it. He was just no. But then he'd talk when he was talking about stuff that was wrong with him, and that's why I said I think he wanted one-to-one support. And maybe that's what he thought he was getting. I don't know. But the point was, when you can get people like that, and yes, they're unwell. But in terms of group therapy, I've attended group therapy sessions where it's just all about one person and they're having a tantrum or something, and it's no one else gets a look in or anything, and they're just hating on the dude. That can happen too. They don't tell you about that. And I'm not saying that this fellow was at that level, but it's really hard not to think of like, dude, why are you here? What, you're not, everyone participated. The first question was open floor, and that was when I did stay fucking silent. It was, an open house one. Well, so what does anyone think about da-da-da? And I'll just let them talk. Because, if you talk first, you set the precedent, don't you? You take the lead, and then everyone thinks, go on then. Because that got me out of an uncomfortable situation. You do your thing, big shot. Go for it. Keep me hidden. But no, he just wasn't looking at anyone else. He wasn't engaging in anything out. He wasn't, other people were giving little sort of, very over polite sort of tidbits to each other. But it was okay. It was the two girls that were there were trying to get what they could from it. And it was the same girl that I helped out, which she told me about the DBT. Fucking brilliant. Someone's got lived experience from it. And yes, she is still unwell because she's still attending that group. But in her experience, from where she's at, she attended that course and it did a lot for her. Fantastic. That's the sort of shit I want to hear. Because, and anyone can write stuff down and say it's very beneficial. But if you start hearing patients going, mate, it's fucking shit, it's really hard to maintain a good attitude. So that was a beneficial part of group therapy. So it's tied into the reaching in thing, because it's about us here mental health patients reaching in. Because I think if we're doing it in the right way, I'm getting a lot from it. I've commented tonight to one of the ladies. So I've been messaging two ladies tonight. I said in a recent video, I always used to be this really supportive, I was one of those people that everyone came to with their problems, and then I started hating on it. We've all heard that story, haven't we? And I was one of those. But, I did that shit for a living as well. And I was fucking good at it. I was well respected. I wasn't perfect. But people would say, I'm glad when you're here. My meditation groups were well talked about. Me taking meditation groups and being very well renowned for it. And even when I was on night shifts, because I was fucking bored, I just used to say, this is something we could actually try. Well, I used it as well in part of the practice development thing. I was saying, well, let's try a meditation group then. And let's just see what can be done about the amount of sleep medication that is being given out every night. Does it help if, just try and record whether or not people are then reporting that they've slept or not, and people doing night checks, are they sleeping? Are they requiring Zopiclone to get them to sleep? And I did a meditation group. I was good at it. And I've been really feeling that I've lost that. I remember commenting on how I used to just, the internet, the magic rectangle, as I now call it, was a lot more beneficial. And I used to I'd have 8 or 9 tabs open on MSN or the early days of Facebook with them. And I'd have loads of tabs open. I'd chat away to people for ages, and I could just do it. And then I was doing that like the other night and tonight. I wrote very long messages about very emotive subjects, but not just all about me and my experience. It was about talking about their stuff. And it's nice to be able to do that. But I'm still going to say to everyone to reach in, because we all know who's going through it, don't we? And just those little times when you would, like if you were going to go to the pub with your fucking mates, do you have to go to the pub with your mates? Reach into someone occasionally, because you'll make the fucking world of difference to them. You really fucking will. Because when you have social isolation, you always fucking doubt it, because it always fucking happens. It's still fucking happening. And it's not just negative thinking. It's social isolation. It's difficult to maintain being around people because they just seem more and more reluctant to engage. And yes, I've got an overthinky head and da-da-da-da-da, but I will only go 50% with you, because this happens way too fucking often. So, it's very fucking difficult to reach out from here. That's why I'm doing the whole reach out, reach in thing. Which one's reaching out, which one's reaching in? Because I know when I used to work with street homeless, we called it outreach. When we went out to try and find people and see if we could help them. But outreach, inreach, what the point is, it's let's put less of a onus on the unwell people to always be the ones to reach out for help. Let's have some more recognition of the fact on a social level that you can make a fundamentally massive difference to someone's mental health by reaching into them, by just inviting them. And, if they get all anxious and if they cancel, just, they do, just allow them to be them. But the fact that you invited them, and if they don't come, just don't be like, oh God, did you get anxious? Sometimes I've been told off for getting anxious. A lot of people will know that if they suffer from regular anxiety. You just get told, oh, what, again? This shit is difficult to slot into society. Like paranoia. Paranoia is difficult to slot into society. And I think that is going to be, actually, because, time's cracking on. I think that's going to be my next topic, which I'm going to flow quite fluidly onto. Because it was another thinkoid. But I think, that kind of summarises it, really. Let's all reach out, reach in, whatever you call it. But identify those people who are going through this kind of shit and really do struggle with all kinds of things. They might struggle with pubs, they might struggle with fucking cinemas, they might struggle with any kinds of social gatherings or functions or whatever. But then it's like, but they might be chilled if they just sometimes they just sit down and chat by a riverbank and skim stones, or, there's a whole countryside where you can be quite peaceful and empty. There's shit like that you can do. And you know what? It does do a fucking lot for you. If you are mentally well and healthy and all that, you'll still get a lot from it. Because that's the other part, the big part of group therapy is that, when you reach out, or a lot of the sort of addictions therapy, when you reach out to the others, it's you that actually benefits. And that's, it really is massively important. And I'll just end actually with, I don't think I've mentioned it, but a little idea from one of the ladies I was messaging, and she's going to write me a letter. And I think, wow, I'm going to start doing that. It's going to be difficult for me, because that's where the ADHD comes in, and it can be a little bit, I'll do it tomorrow, I will do it tomorrow, and that can get like filling in a form. But it was the sentiment of it, and there really is something, and I think she's onto something, because of things like the unsent letter is a deep sort of therapeutic way of putting it. What about a sort of milder one when you're just talking to a friend? But I don't know, we really have lost the art of letters. Handwriting does a lot in the brain as well, writing goals down. That's why I've always struggled with goal setting, because writing them down is hard for me to maintain. But a lot of stuff goes on when you write something down, believe me. And I will end there. Let's write more letters when we reach in.